welcome to a quick discussion of Kirby and the Forgotten Land. This is one of my most anticipated games of the year, so I was really excited to see that a demo was released. In this demo, we seem to have access to two stages. I actually haven't finished the second stage yet, and there are some interesting things that I want to talk about. First of all, there's actually difficulty options, which is, I think, a first for Kirby for a main story. I can't think of any other examples, at least. I think we'll go with Wild Mode, which is the harder difficulty for this quick look. Alright, so we've washed up on an unfamiliar beach. So if we head over here, we enter this little jungle where we have a little tutorial area. You can actually change the controls in the pause menu. By default, A is jump and B is attack, but I'm honestly not the biggest fan of that after playing some of the more recent Kirby games. That was how some of the older Kirby games were actually structured, control-wise, like Squeak Squad and Superstar Ultra, as an example. And I think Star Allies also gave you the option to change controls. I also really like how there are difficulty options. I can't think of many other Kirby games that have difficulty options for the main story, and it's really nice, especially because Kirby games are often seen as a little bit too easy. So yeah, having an easier mode and a harder mode might be helpful. So I have played the stage. I am actually really enjoying this demo. I'm not 100% sold on a few aspects of it, specifically performance related. For example, the enemies, if you get farther away from them, they basically animate at half frame rate. Which is a common animation technique to help the performance, but it is a little bit noticeable at times when you see enemies in the distance and they're looking very choppy. Other than that, though, the general performance seems relatively smooth. I think I have spotted a couple like frame rate dips here and there, but overall it's not too bad. In general, though, the actual graphical look of the game is honestly really good so far. So we swapped from sword to bomb. We actually have two attacks with bomb. If you stand and hold Y, you can actually lob a bomb. Or if you just kind of like run and press Y, you can basically roll it like a bowling ball, kind of like Skyward Sword, actually. So yeah, this game's kind of a big deal. This is the first 3D Kirby game, and honestly, based on the demo, it seems very promising so far. And we have the current big gaming meme, Mouthful Mode, where Kirby basically inhales random objects and controls them, like cars. So we can use this car to dash through this wall, making a very dramatic entrance. And yeah, we can just kind of drive around very easily, dash through enemies. But yeah, you might notice that Kabu in the distance. That's a good example. Like if we get farther away, it animates a lot more. Yeah, the animation's a lot choppier. Again, it's not the biggest deal in the world, but it is a little bit noticeable. There is camera control, by the way. This is kind of like Super Mario 3D World, if I had to compare it to anything, where it's 3D, but still kind of maintains the overall like design mentality of the 2D entries, which makes sense for their first mainline 3D Kirby game. There actually have been a couple of spin-offs that have been in 3D. Some of the transitions between cutscene to gameplay are actually really smooth. I was actually really impressed with some of these. Also, there are checkpoints, so it actually will specifically say, which is kind of nice. Alright, so we now have to rescue the little character that was trapped in that cage that none of the fandom seems to trust. I'm not entirely sure if that's justified or not, because the actual precedent of it is there, but not really. Alright, so this is Alphalin, who's getting us up to speed on the Wildies being captured, and how we have to go save them. And of course, Kirby's willing to help. Yeah, no one really trusts this character because of Marx and Magalore having a heel turn. People just think Alphalin's gonna go bad at some point. Alright, so that's stage 1, so let's head over to downtown Grassland. So, in general, I feel like this demo really hasn't actually changed my opinion of this game. I'm still really excited for it, but it's also kind of like exactly what I expected it to be. Like, being really early levels, this is not really that surprising, like how this plays out. Also, we do have these little missions, so that's interesting. Something about making the tulips bloom, in a way that actually reminds me of Dreamland 3. I hope the missions aren't quite that obtuse, but being a Kirby game, they probably will be that obtuse. Kirby games are weird because they're actually really easy if you're just playing them for the sake of finishing the main story. But if you're trying to complete them 100%, it's a whole different story. We have another Mouthful Mode transformation, which is a vending machine. Yeah, the meme potential of mouthful mode has already been well realized. A lot of fan art has been drawn of this as is. I kind of wonder whenever something like this takes off, like how much the developers intended for this to become a meme, or if it's just kind of like a lucky break kind of a thing. I have to imagine they had some idea that that would really take off. What is this? I guess we're not going to find out what that is. So let's head over here. I guess that must be some kind of collectible. Let's just sneak past the enemy and grab this warp star. Again, some of the transitions from, cutscene to gameplay are just really smooth. It's honestly really impressive. Yeah, for a first 3D Kirby game, this is kind of like what I expected. There isn't anything super surprising. I don't know if there will be, in all honesty. Like, Star Allies, I know, definitely played it safe for the most part, and I kind of hope that this game takes more risks beyond just being the first 3D Kirby game. But I'm really not sure what to expect. I'm going to enjoy it. It's a Kirby game. I stand by Kirby actually being the only Nintendo series I can think of that I've actually enjoyed every game to some degree or another. Like, I don't think Kirby really has any, like, bad games. Like, something like Dreamland 2 is lower on my personal list, but I still stand by it being, like, an alright game, even though I'm personally not the biggest fan of it. So yeah, I definitely think Kirby is one of the most consistent Nintendo franchises, for better or worse, because again, it often does feel very safe at times. Alright, we had one little achievement there, using the water to reach that higher ledge. We also have one of those little capsule things. I hope that's not required for 100% like the... What was in the other games? There was like keychains in Triple Deluxe, and what was the collectible for Robobot? I actually can't remember. Like, there were various collectibles that are like randomly generated, basically. Like, you get random collectibles every time you pick one up, like the keychains in Triple Deluxe. I'm just imagining the capsules that we're collecting are going to be the equivalent of that in this game. Alright, so we have, I guess, a mini-boss here. Wild Edge. Not too difficult, especially with Cutter. We can stay far away and deal attacks from a distance. And we might as well pick up Sword while we're here, and then go over and free this Waddle Dee. This is one of the most weird things to compliment a Kirby game for, but I actually feel like a lot of the texture details for like characters' hats are shockingly impressive. Like, Kirby's little hat right now looks super detailed, like way more detailed than I would have expected. And, like, this is the in-game part too, which almost makes it more impressive. What is this? Oh, just stand there, I guess. But yeah, like the bandana, Waddle Dee's bandana, and the opening scene also look very detailed. Surprisingly so. I assume we have to use the cone to defeat that enemy, but I guess we might as well just keep moving for now. Yeah, this is very Mario 3D World, which is totally fine by me, as someone who really liked that game. It definitely isn't like reinventing the wheel for 3D platformers in general, but definitely is one of the most ambitious Kirby games in a while. And yeah, I'm hoping this really turns out as well as I think it, and hope this will, because there is a lot of potential for this to actually be a big hit. I am trying to keep my expectations relatively grounded at the moment, because again, like, this is the opening of the game. It's kind of hard to gauge like later stuff. like overall difficulty from this, and like, you know, how ambitious the later acts will get. Like, Planet Robobot definitely went in interesting directions later on, to put it exceedingly mildly. Like, that game definitely goes in some very unexpected directions. They're actually really exciting, and Star Allies comparatively isn't like as like exciting, even though there are moments of that. Alright, so we can ride up to this platform using the geyser, collect, I guess, another one of these little capsules, and also, I guess, defeat this little mini-boss here. That is surprisingly brutal. And I assume the gold cages are the end of the stage. Oh wow, there is actually a third stage, which I guess would probably be the first main boss. I actually kind of want to keep this a surprise for myself when the full game drops later this month. So I think I'm actually going to end this look at the demo here. Like I suspected, the capsules are the equivalent of like the randomized collectibles from the 3DS games, so I guess I'm not overly shocked. Oh yeah, and Star Allies had the puzzle pieces serving that same purpose. So yeah, 100%ing this game with the missions and the capsule toys is going to be interesting, to say the least. And I'm excited. I do like Kirby games a lot. Like, again, I don't think there's ever been a Kirby game I haven't liked, and this is shaping up pretty well. Again, it's hard to gauge like the overall scope of the game from the first world. But so far so good. The game releases, I think, at the end of the month. I forget the exact day. It's like March 25th or something. I actually don't remember the exact day. But I'm really excited. At some point, I definitely would like to do a full playthrough if I end up actually really liking the game, which is a fairly high probability, in all honesty, that I'll really like this game. So look forward to that in the future. And with that being said, thank you for watching, and I hope you'll join me next time for another discussion.